demoing my take on the MXR Distortion Plus circuit, which is also being used in the Ross distortion, or the DOD overdrive preamp 250. It's a very commonly copied circuit, but I had someone a few months ago ask me to build a part-for-part clone of his, but in a different form factor with top-mounted jacks, and since I had extra PCBs left over, I decided to build those up as well, but I added a couple of changes to those ones. So the first change you'll notice is that there's 3 knobs instead of 2 knobs like the original. There's volume, gain, and a tone control I added. Before I get any further, I'll give you the dry tone. This is my SG going into actually both my Blues Junior and my Bugera. The bridge pickup, now the neck pickup. And so the changes I've made, aside from that extra knob there for the tone control, I rearranged basically the main gain stage so that it's more consistent as you turn the gain up and down, so it doesn't change around your frequency, get all muddy on lower gain settings and get high or shrill. No, it's more consistent. So I'll show you that now. Here it is all the way down. Maybe I'll just tune for a second. Tune and talk. The other change is that I increased the clipping headroom, so it still gets very crunchy and everything, but I wanted to give it just a bit more headroom, just so that a bit more output level could be coaxed out of the thing, and just give a more open sound, because that's one of the problems with that circuit, is that it can get very, very compressed, and it also cuts into the amount of output volume available. Anywho. Compare that with the dry signal. Okay, it's a bit quieter now, but here it is with the thing cranked with the output. So, as you can hear, just that little change with the diodes means more signal is getting through without being clipped off, so it can now be used as a boost. I tend to like the volume back here a bit, but anywho. That was with the gain all the way down. Here it is around a third of the way up. With the tone control here, I'll turn the volume down back a little bit. All the way up is pretty much as you'd have it in your stock DOD overdrive 250, well, whatever you want to call the circuit. Bright with a lot of hair to it. So you turn it back. Oh. Like, maybe not for lead sound where you want to cut through, but it's still... it's still a nice warm tone that's perfectly useful. All the way down. Compared to all the way up. The type of tone control this is basically, I just increased one of the output capacitors that rolls off a bit of treble that's in the original circuit. I increased that, but added a pot that lets you, block how much treble is going through. Essentially, it's just determining how much treble gets rolled off. Well, that's pretty much every treble tone control, but it's in a way at the end of the circuit that sort of, I've seen a lot of circuits, including ones that I build, that sort of done in a way that emulates the frequencies that get rolled off by a speaker, which I would agree, those are definitely the frequencies that get all fizzy or whatnot if, say, you were recording direct. No, it's very useful. Let me up the gain a bit further. One thing you may notice is that it has a very solid low end to it. I took the liberty of tweaking the RC filter network and the op-amp gain stage so that when you turn it up, there's still a nice solid low end, so it still has a nice mid-range focus to it, but Just gives it a nice bit of thickness. It's, definitely thick. And yet, with the tone control turned up, you'll still be able to cut through. So, it's actually pretty versatile for such a simple circuit. Let's max the gain. In fact, let's take it up a notch and just dime everything. Or maybe not. Hopefully that didn't blow out the mic on my phone or your speakers if you were listening to that at a louder volume. But yeah, there's definitely plenty of volume on tap as opposed to the original circuit from MXR or DOD or Ross. And it works well with other pedals around it. Put a bit of verb, delay, wah. Let's see. It rolls off in an okay manner if you use your volume control on your guitar. Nothing spectacular, but if you have it set right, you can take some of the edge off and put it back on with your guitar without having to bend down to tweak settings. Well, I've done enough talking and playing. It's, simple circuit. There's not all sorts of extra knobs and switches like I tend to do with a lot of my other pedals. It's pretty much a straightforward take on that classic circuit, but with an added tone knob and a couple tweaks just to give it more volume and oomph. If you're interested, I have 2 of these made up right now. I like the sound of the circuit so much that I will be doing it proper as its own thing in the future, with a few more changes, but keeping it relatively simple and everything. So yes, I'm going to sell it for roughly the same price as my Boleros or other similar sized pedals, so probably around $120 if you buy it direct from me. That's about all I have to say. It's very nice sounding distortion overdrive pedal, and with the changes I've made, it can even work as a kind of dirty boost preamp kind of thing, especially with the tone control there, allowing you to adjust how much of the fizz and everything you have on top with the treble. Anyway, that's all for now.